I write for a few porn magazines in the city. I'm not joking. This story is about a night I had drunkenly in Berlin, which was actually the trip where I met Saskia, and we'll... Oh, no, not like that. I was never good at introductions. Drunken logic is a beautiful thing. When that perfect amount of booze sloshes around the easy canals of your brain, dipping here, crashing there, telling you that it's probably a good idea if you put lipstick on your mouth, approach a woman, and pretend that the two of you just made out in the back. Whoa. You don't remember me? How about this? I remember you. This does nothing, but it's beautiful. And yet, this drunken logic seems completely exclusive to American thinking. Our willingness to be complete buffoons somehow endears us to the foreign opposite sex. However, my background makes this a difficult ballet. My American heritage makes me bold and stupid, while my Jewish heritage makes me feel guilty and paranoid. It was a Thursday night in Berlin, and I was shit-faced. Actually, allow me to amend that. I was ass-faced, seeing as everything that seemed to come out of my mouth was complete bullshit. The American group I was with was in the back playing a game of Never Have I Ever with big German glasses of beer. I had just lost and needed a refill. I looked over the expat crowd as I waited for the beautiful transvestite waitress to serve me another. This is not drunken logic. The waitress actually was a beautiful transvestite. I said that. Gleaning over the crowd, my eyes fell pair by pair onto those of the candlelit meanderers. Most avoided my glance as my eyes were fishbowling back and forth, and I was sexily dry-heaving. But then, a pair stared back. A blue pair, with a mop of brown curls which bounced above a beautiful gray-blue pill dress. She looked back at me and smiled. This made no sense to me. There was really no reason to look at me. Nothing good could come from it. I knew it and was baffled that she didn't. This must have been a wait. She looked again. At me. Or wait, was it me? Maybe it was the waitress. Maybe my cheeks weren't soft enough for her. In kicked the drunken logic like some big malevolent computer. Do-do-do, do-do-do. Sheets of paper were printing in my mind. Calculations. Move, the booze told me. Move away and watch her from a distance. If she looks back to where you were standing and you're no longer there, she'll look for you. In my mind, this looked like a football sketch. I'll explain this real quick. Okay. Here is the hottie. Arrow over there to the X is me. Me moves down to the O, where it says, wah-ha-ha-ha-ha. And there are a lot of question marks coming out of her, like, where'd he go? Where'd he go? So that was my first idea of drunken logic. So there I was, filled with testosterone and adrenaline, and I made my way across the room, almost falling over a group of Italians. Down I crouched behind a table, the occupants of which looked at me quizzically. I didn't mind. Science was taking place. I watched. I waited. She looked. She looked to where I had been standing and then looked around the room. It worked. She was looking for me. I swaggered over to her table and plopped myself down. Hey. She smiled. I smiled. How are you? I am good, she said in a thick Romanian accent. Good, I thought. I'm glad you're good. We talked about the basics, why we were here, what our names were, etc., all of which I forgot immediately. Then she pulled a cigarette out and asked if I had a match. Unbelievably, I did. I struck it, cupping it around the stove, then licked my index finger and thumb and put the match out. She arched an eyebrow and said, "You like fire." I don't know why her voice is deeper than mine, I'm sorry. Drunken logic kicked in again. Doo-doo-doo. Yes, I like fire. I licked my fingers again and put out the candle on the table. Oh, you really like fire. I leaned forward onto the table, accepting her obvious challenge. Yeah, I really like fire. I grabbed the cigarette out of her mouth, licked my fingers, and holy mother of God! Computer down, commands flying back and forth. Do not show her how much that hurt. Play it cool, pretend the tears streaming out of your eyes are because you just remembered a really sad war story. If she asks you what war, tell her the war inside of me. Are you okay? Yeah, totally, I replied, shoving my hand into her glass of beer. That was not a move I was proud of. Should we get another drink? I took my hand out of her beer and leaned forward, saying seductively, only if you're buying. Still, for some reason, this woman was willing to put up with me. Oh, willing to buy me a shot of Jägermeister and even introduce me to her 3 Romanian friends. All guys, all big, all hairy, all unusually quiet. As if plotting. Slowly, my American heritage started to recede into that of my Jewish. They asked if I'd like to leave with them for another bar. I shrugged my shoulders, thinking, why not? Why not? Why not? There are 100 reasons why not, all of which hit me after I stopped a block down, ran into another bar, telling the Romanians I needed to quickly use a bathroom. There, in front of a urinal, I spoke the reasons, talked the reasons, told the reasons to myself, but one reason above all hit me. A reason I held to be total and complete truth, accepted it in my veins, in my head, in my heart, and allowed it to fully control me. The words were smart and well thought out, so much so that I had to say my magnus opus of brilliant reasoning aloud. That bitch is a fucking gypsy. That bitch is a fucking gypsy and she wants to take my stuff away from me. I shook, I zipped, and flushed, pausing before I exited to take out all the euros of my wallet and put them into my shoe. The Romanians waited outside, and I staggered over to the girl and said, I'm going home, do you want to come? I crossed my arms, daring her to say yes. Lie, gypsy. Tell me you want to go to bed with me. Without your henchmen, your gypsy ways are nothing. Let's take a cab, she said. I was now completely and utterly convinced this woman was a gypsy. Ah, very keen gypsy, thinking I won't back down. Yes, let's get that cab. My hand was up, the cab stopped, and we drove the 3 blocks to my apartment. The meter clocked out, and I took my shoe off, pulling a few euros out. When we got out of the cab, she asked if I always kept my money in the shoes, and I said, no, not always. You fucking gypsy. What? Nothing, I didn't say anything. We walked up to my apartment, I opened the door and directed her to my bedroom, telling her to wait there. I then ran into my living room, grabbed my laptop, grabbed my roommate's laptop, both our passports, and for some reason a kitschy sombrero we bought at a Turkish market. I ran into my roommate's room, the lights were off and he was sleeping, but that didn't stop me from ratcheting the closet door open and throwing the contents within loud enough that he woke up. Noah, what the hell are you doing? Greg, I said, turning from the closet. He's got company. I think she's a gypsy. Okay. I ran back to my room and what happens happened. In the end, she was not a gypsy, but I was an idiot. Somehow she actually found me. The one woman the world over that might find any of that charming found me, which slightly worries me. At the end of the night, my drunken logic had proved to be a beautiful thing, but my drunken sleep was better.